God is good, and with each day that passes brings us a day closer to the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. This is the Nathan NAPALM channel, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so, especially if you're interested in Pantheon content, JRPGs, RPGs, old school MMOs. That's what we do here. Today I want to talk about the Living Codex. So what is the Living Codex, and what does it do, and how is it going to benefit us, and how will it be used in the game? Well, basically, to break it down, the Living Codex, what it is, it's a book that's like a complete guide for your class's special abilities, okay? So we've got different parts of the Codex. We've got one that's called Essential. This will have your standard abilities that your character can train and use throughout their life. However, in Pantheon, some of the more exotic abilities, the epic abilities, can only be found out in Terminus. So you have to actually go out and do special quests, guarded treasure vaults, super dangerous, harder enemies, and dangerous locations. So those are the most powerful abilities. And those are written on legendary parchments that are called Prime Scrolls. Now the second section of the Codex, which is the Transcendent, is built for the scribing and intensifying of those Prime Scroll abilities. So that is where you will scribe those out. Your Prime Scrolls go in the Transcendent section, and that's where you'll get those scribed out. Now once scribed, players will be able to memorize a total of 10 abilities. So mixing the essential ones and the transcendent abilities as desired is part of the gameplay mechanics. Now once memorized, players will be able to place these abilities on their ability bar, which gives them full access and use of them. Although it's an early concept of it, right here on the screen I'm going to show you the Transcendent section of the Living Codex, and this is where the Prime Scroll abilities will be scribed. Once again, the epic abilities will go here. Now you'll notice that there's different sections, so if you look up at the top, that's where you'll put your Prime Scroll. That will fill up the top portion of the page, and underneath there are 3 empty sections you see there that the player marks with special items which further enhance the primary ability. Now let's talk about what kind of things can you use to enhance that ability. Well, there's several of them. Let's start with, there's actually 3 of them. First up, we have the seal of Amplification. This amplifies the bonus modifiers for mana climates that affect the primary scroll's mana color. More powerful seals will increase the bonuses. Another type will be the Brand of Resilience. This lessens the negative modifiers from mana climates that affect the primary scroll's mana color. More powerful brands will decrease the penalties. Then we have Signet of Synergy, which, when applied, will unlock different class-specific synergy effects that can be used in combination with synergy effects from other classes, sometimes to a big effect. However, the primary scroll ability must be capable of synergy effects, and not all of them will be. So it's a very interesting way to, a very new kind of way to have abilities and put them in the Living Codex and have some options and ways to make them even better. So as you can see, not only will it be difficult to get these Prime Scrolls of these epic abilities, but then you'll have ways to amplify them through the 3 slots at the bottom. I think this is very cool. I think this is a feature of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen that doesn't get a lot of mention or a lot of talking about, and I think it's very cool. So from the information that we have so far, it does seem like a really cool kind of customization feature that goes into the actual abilities so that you can kind of customize them a little bit to meet whatever your group's needs may be for that particular group or that particular area that you're in, etc. So that gives you that much more of a grip and a control over your character and the way that they play. A lot of people are comparing to the Diablo 3 skill runes and other MMO tiered spell ranks and that kind of thing, and I think that it's a really good execution of a way to allow players to kind of tailor their character just a little bit, just a little bit of an adjustment, and I think it's very awesome. Anything that gives us a little bit more to make our character just a little bit different, or to get maybe a little bit of an edge on the group or the fight that we're currently doing, I'm all for, and I think that's very cool, and I don't think it can be overpowered. I think it can be easily adjusted with what they allow and what the modifiers do. I've seen other people who are actually comparing it to EverQuest's Research with the level 60 plus drop spells that you can mod later to you know, do different effects like more damage or to have a lower cast time or for the effect to last longer, that kind of thing. And there's a lot of ways they can go about this. Now, we don't know for sure what they're going to do, but you could actually set it up to where casters, for example, having to specialize in a certain spell, making them have to trick out their brands and their seals and everything with that, so that they can actually specialize in a specific ability for that to be their go-to massive amounts of damage output. And the other thing that's interesting is it's only showing 2 on this page, so it kind of makes me wonder, can you only have 2 active at a time? So for example, let's say that I'm a paladin, and there are, and I'm making, we don't know, but let's say there are 10 available epic spells I can go out into the world and I can get. Well, there's only 2 I can have active at a time, maybe. You know, now all this is hearsay, but this is what we have to assume at this point. So let's say I go and unlock all 10. So now, when I go into a group or I'm going down to a dungeon, we don't know how long it would take to scribe it in there. Let's say it takes a few minutes or per spell, and then to put your enhancements in takes a couple of minutes, or let's say even you have to get a specific artisan type class, like scriber or whatever, to actually put those on there for you. So now you got another element to it, which is possible. I can see that happening. But in any case, to where you have to be strategic in what you put in yours. So you have to pick from the ones you have available, or even pick from the ones that you have the ability to go get. So the ones you have the courage or the group or the guild to go out and get these, because they're not going to be easy. So as you get those, you have to pick which ones you like the most, put them on, then you have to get the enhancements for them, figure out which ones fits your play style, which one's going to be best for your groups that you typically get in, and then amplify it to adjust accordingly. So there's as you can see, without getting too in depth and without even knowing all the details, you can see that this is a very intricate thing. Like, this is a big deal for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and how the game's going to end up playing, and how we end up maxing out our characters. In other words, when we get to end game and we're really, you know, or we get to max level, I should say, and we're trying to prepare for end game, we're trying to get better at it, and this is another thing that we can work on with our characters, as far as going out and getting these epic spells, and then having to strategize which ones we actually are going to have scribed, and how we're going to amplify them to do the whatever it is we want to do with that character, depending on the class and depending on the abilities that we have. So once again, it gets very awesome. It gets very intricate. It gets very detailed, and I really like it, and I thought it was really cool. And I haven't heard a whole lot of people talking about it, even though we kind of known about this for a while. It's just one of those things where people are, I don't think, thinking about how cool of a feature it really is, and I can't wait to see how it all turns out. So what do you guys think? When you look at this, and you're looking at these details on it, you can check out all the information on the wiki or on the official Pantheon MMO website. What do you think about it? How do you think they could go with this? What's some options you think that they could use to make this even better than what we're assuming right now? Do you have any additional information or things, ideas that you think it could go, or routes that Visionary Realms could take? Let me know in the comments down below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. We do have the newsletter coming up next week, so I'm very excited about that, to find out what we've got going on in the new January newsletter, and I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about then. In the meantime, join me here on the channel. We're going to be exploring lots of JRPGs from the past and having a good time. So if you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so, especially if you're interested in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen content, because that's what I mainly do here. And thank you for your time today, guys, and as usual, God bless and happy gaming. Please listen to what I say. I've been making videos all day. My friends all say I'm gay. It's a video buffet. You can even hit replay. But please just subscribe. I can't even describe being part of my tribe. I'll even offer you a prize. But just please just subscribe and hit the bell notification too.